Blackline Brief starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday afternoon, early show today. Welcome to another episode of the Blackline Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McCam, and I have a good show lined up for you today, as always. But glad to see everyone here. Hopefully more people trickle in. I know it's a different time slot. Taking the kids and the family to the fair tonight. So had to get this in, especially too with going through the Charlie Kirk archive. There's going to be so much stuff in there. It's going to be very time consuming, but yet I think it's going to be very, very rewarding because, I mean, I wasn't watching them in the fall of last year. Like I wasn't paying attention to everything that they were doing. And not to mention, most of the stuff that's on the Charlie Kirk exclusive website is not on their YouTube channel. And when you go to their YouTube channel, like their other channels, because they have, and their Rumble as well, if you try to find a full episode from anything in September, October, November, December, January, well, December is when it really cuts off. You can't go past 8 months. There's nothing past 8 months. They have like short clips. And I think I don't know if it's by design. I don't know how many videos YouTube library allows you to maintain. I've never gotten a prompt. I mean, I'm only at 229 as of today. But I don't know. They do like, freaking 10, 15, 20 shows in a day because they have all these different shows lined up. But we cannot find full episodes of certain shows online. If you try to find it, try to use chat, try to use Google, or like the AI on Google, it'll like find you a clip that is apart from it, but not the part that you want. It says like the video exists, but then you go to look for it and their library is so extensive and it doesn't go past a certain time. Their Rumble library, what is it? Like shorts out. When you start scrolling past like 6 months, it like just stops like scrolling past. And so it's just very hard to find certain things from them. And I think personally, it's really important to go back, especially after the assassination, and find out remembering all the things that they were saying. And I found so many different things that we can look at today. One of which for sure is this episode titled Remembering the Boss. It's a pre-recorded episode that they uploaded for Christmas. You'll notice the Christmas coloring. Danny Phillips, remember, who Candace brought up and who was one of Charlie Kirk's executive assistants. He was the one that was counting time, marking time with Blake Neff on September 10th in the SUV while they were at UVU waiting. And we don't know actually where the SUV was, but when Charlie was at the entrepreneur interview, his last interview podcast show that he ever did that morning in Salt Lake City for the restaurant something, guys, Blake and Neff wasn't with him, right? He was with Danny Phillips, right? And Danny Phillips has somewhat of an interesting story as well when you find out about his grandfather. And then you find out about how he got a job, not just any job. Charlie Kirk's executive assistant. He has two. Nate Walker's the other one, both of which have very interesting pasts, both of which Candace has brought up and touched on. And so Danny Phillips is in this episode. What we also come to find out was Danny Phillips was in Maine. He went to Maine with Charlie and Erika when all those famous photos were taken of Charlie and Erika and the kids, which they used in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination. We also find out that Erika's not the only one with access to Charlie Kirk's phone. Okay. And I know that, well, I don't know that we knew that. I know that we obviously understood that she was sharing text messages with the team for Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff to release on the show, to release on X, right? When they were digging through Charlie Kirk's past text messages and posts that they use, like, see, Charlie Kirk was friends with Ben Shapiro. See, oh, Charlie Kirk, whatever, they selectively choose to release text messages, but then like we ask for ones that would help clear the air, maybe, settle suspicion or controversy, and they don't. And then they choose to partner with Andrew Wilson to release what looks like fake Signal Telegram messages based on experts that have written to me, right? But possibly are real, but have all these issues with them, like things blacked out, parts are missing. It doesn't show who actually sent it and who received it. So many issues. Not to mention, just a quick note, because my brain works this way, they try to act like those text messages that Andrew Wilson released were after the text message that Charlie sent out saying he wanted to leave the pro-Israel cause. Well, that's not true. That's not true, because that text was sent right before the Zoom call meeting, and the Zoom call meeting happened at like 8 or 9 p.m. the night before the 10th. And those messages were from like 6:25 or something. So anyway, so much suspicion, so much issues with what they choose to discuss, what questions they choose to answer, what allegations they choose to dispel, and what text messages they choose to release. And I want to know who actually has access to Charlie Kirk's phone. Because in this episode, you're going to see that this girl, Daisy, not Barron's Daisy, okay? They have a girl that works for TPUSA named Daisy. She either was given access to Charlie Kirk's phone and she pulled these text messages off, because I have a hard time believing that Erika Kirk was like, use these specific text messages from the Asia trip. I mean, with her busy schedule, like being on the Air Force Academy board and, like CEO jet setting across the United States and doing different appearances at the State of the Union and the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and then all of her different speaking appearances on the Charlie Kirk show or Make Heaven Crowded event, or you know what I mean? Like, she has time to go back through Charlie Kirk's phone for this specific episode to send them one of Charlie Kirk's text messages? No. So I personally believe that there's people in the studio at TPUSA that have been given access to Charlie Kirk's phone. Okay. Which makes sense, actually, because Erika's not going to have the time to approve every decision Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff make when they're like, hey, I want to post a clip from Charlie Kirk's social media, from Charlie Kirk's whatever, regarding Iran, regarding Israel, regarding Thomas Massey or Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro, right? Like, they're going to have to message her, ask Erika to go back through his phone to dig up this specific post or tweet or text message, and then she's going to have to find it and screenshot it and send it to them. No, not in my opinion. My opinion is that these individuals have access and that they're choosing what to release and when. And I got problems with that. And we all should. Just like we should all have problems with anything involving Charlie, and even outside of TPUSA, like videos and stuff that get released to some people, but not to others. And it's like, so many people are heavily invested in this investigation that we feel it is like everything should be open source, in my opinion. Nothing should be held back. I mean, obviously, there's certain people that have sources that they need to keep their identities, confidential and secret. Fine. And maybe their hands are tied with certain pieces of evidence that have been handed to them that they're not allowed to release. Fine. But if it's been released or it's been given to someone and then they release it, it's like, then we all should have access to these things. And honestly, like, one of the biggest things that I want to know, and I feel like the prosecution against Tyler Robinson, the state of Utah, right, the Utah County's attorney's office, that, and I apologize jumping all over the place. This is just my brain. The Losi Center rooftop surveillance video. We have never seen from start to finish that video. There's like, I think it's from 12:15 to 12, I don't know, is it 18 minutes like those minutes are missing. I mean, I guess my point, instead of trying to be specific about which minutes are missing, is that time is missing. Complete sections of that video are cut out, right? From the beginning, the middle, and the end, right? I believe we should all be able to see from the moment Eagle Boy walks up onto that roof, everything that he does from the moment he jumps off. And then I want it to continue because he crosses the street. And we've heard that there's more. Obviously, we know there's more video because it's 180-degree capture. Everything from this left angle to this right angle and everything in between are going to be captured in that video. And he crosses the street and then he turns, and that's where the bushes, the wooded area where he supposedly drops the rifle. And, that people that I trust, like Stu Peters, said that he meets up with people. I also want to see how he engages with the person in the white car over there. I want to know what communication, because clearly Tyler Robinson was being, not Tyler, clearly this individual that they say is Tyler Robinson was being followed by people. He was communicating with people. This person, Eagle Boy, has his phone out before he walks down the stairs, and underneath that tunnel, he gets up on top of the Losi Center roof and clearly is just like communicating with someone on his phone, right? The other footage from like the inside, like the different Ring doorbell camera footage where he's like walking on the street and a car like pulls up and waits for him. The car that follows him after the fact. This individual, whoever it is, Lance Twiggs, Eagle Boy, or if it turns out to be Tyler Robinson, if we ever find a for sure clear video of him, and it's Tyler, fine, it's Tyler, but I don't think it is clearly communicating and working with a much broader group of people. And so we deserve transparency on all this, because what they're trying to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination and the Tyler Robinson trial is, I think, the beginning of things to come. They're clearly collecting like data on all this, on all of us, because largely most of this is all happening online, right? Whether it's YouTube, X, or wherever else, okay? They're able to collect a ton of data on how people react, how people respond, how people can be motivated to do things, whether that's just make videos or post or go somewhere and do something kinetic. They're collecting data on how this PSYOP is going, the good, the bad, the ugly. And they're going to learn a tremendous amount of information from how this has gone wrong. And they're going to recalibrate, and the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. So anyways, I got off tangent. My apologies. All of these things are connected for me in my mind. And so it's just how my brain works. When I talk about one thing, I start thinking about another thing. Who's this? Angela Carpenter. Not sure how I stumbled upon you, but so glad I did. Love how you think and the way you deliver it. Keep going, Max, and God bless. God bless you and all who are trying to get justice for Charlie. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I'm glad you stumbled upon this channel as well. And I hope that more people do. So right now, obviously, my main focus is Charlie Kirk. Okay. His life before, because that has everything to do with his legacy that TPUSA and Erika Kirk are lying about. They're lying about the positions that he began to shift on after October 7th. That's when it all started, hands down. That's when it started for Charlie Kirk. And the 2 years in between October 7th, 2023 and September 10th, 2025, he continued to shift on so many things. Okay. And so I'm in this for that, for Charlie Kirk, his legacy, his true legacy, the truth about his life, what he was experiencing in the weeks, the months, the days before the assassination. the whole Tyler Robinson investigation and trial and the, sham of a case against him, what the media, this administration, and some podcasters that claim to be independent, claim to be out for truth, how they all seem to have connections with one another and TPUSA and the Department of War, right? And this administration, and they're all lying, misleading good major sloths, portions of the public, right? And so I'm in it to get the truth out in Charlie Kirk, but there will come a day when we're past all of this. And my job is not going to be done. Yes, I came into this because of how Charlie Kirk's life impacted me. I've said this many times. I truly did follow Charlie Kirk. And he had a big impact on my life. It's crazy that someone you've never met, someone you've only seen through a screen, could impact your life in such a significant way. And I don't want to get choked up, but I hope someday that I could have that level of impact, a positive impact on someone else that I've never met. And so, because his life impacted me in such a significant way, his assassination wrecked me and caused me to decide that I was going to do something, and that I was going to wait for someone else. I'm not going to wait for someone else to pick up the torch and to do what I feel that God has equipped me to do. That I have a unique set of skills, to quote Liam Neeson, and that I can use my experience, my life, my training, my education, my life experience, and my skills to make a difference in this country, one person at a time. And so there will come a day when we're past the trial, but until we get our country back, and even when we do, because I believe we will, but even when we do, the fight will not be over. There will never be a time where there is no need for true, independent, honest people, whether that be on YouTube that have their own channel, that are in pursuit of truth with anything in regarding news stories or what's affecting us in our country, whether that's whatever administration is in power, or even geopolitics across the globe. There will never be a time where we won't need people like me, people like Charlie. And I'm not the only one. There's many. I'm just speaking of me personally right now. And so I'm in it right now for the Charlie Kirk assassination, who's involved, the trial against Tyler Robinson. But eventually, once we get justice for Charlie, the need isn't going to be gone. There's still going to be a need for us to do our job, and for all of you to do your job too, with your family members, with your friends, at work, at church, online, wherever it is, to be a voice for truth, to set the example as Christians, and to hold our government and people in power accountable. All right, soapbox over. Thank you for the gift. All right, let's get right into the video. So this video is from the Charlie Kirk archive. And everyone should say thank you to my brother-in-law who made this cool backdrop. Always working behind the scenes, always doing great work. Thank you, brother-in-law with no name. Wants to remain anonymous. But yeah, isn't this cool? It reminded me of that guy that used to have that late night show that had those, like, you remember that, what is it called? Light Bright. Do you guys remember that game from like the 1980s, and it like had a light panel in the back? I think it's called a Light Bright, and you like put in these different color little things, and it would like, and you can make designs, you can write names and whatever. I think it's called a Light Bright or something like that. But there was this guy, he had a late night show. He had glasses. He always wore suspenders. No, not Carson. No, not Johnny Carson. Yeah, I think it was called a light bright, but the guy's name, remember, he had glasses, he had suspenders, he had like hair. Everyone's saying light bright. Okay. But that's kind of what this backdrop looks like to me. So let's see. Did anyone get the guy's name? I don't know. All right. For those of you coming in and getting settled, please do me a favor. Please hit the like and the subscribe. Wait, I got to do it this way so that I can point to it. Please hit the like and the subscribe. It is the best way to help support this channel. And it's the way to help this channel continue to grow and reach more people, make a bigger impact, get more people to have access to this community and to benefit from all of you. All of you are tremendous in keeping this community what it is, okay? The best community online, hands down. So please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Let's get into it. All right. Well, let me kick this. Let me get this real quick before I get behind. All right. This one says, have y'all seen the TPUSA tour lineup? It's absolutely disgusting. Virtually all Daily Wire. So disrespectful to Charlie. The TPUSA tour lineup. What tour are you talking about? The campus event tour. I don't know specifically what you mean. Yeah, Larry King. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Catherine. Oh, so okay. Sorry, Rob got it too. Who else? So did Arlene. Sorry. So did. Okay, all of you got it. Props to all of you. Everyone's okay. Yes. Sorry. I just saw the one that was on the bottom. So my apologies. Not trying to give credit to someone further down in the comment section. Whoever got it first. Thank you. Larry King. I don't know what tour you're talking about. They always have so many things going on. Are you talking about Make Heaven Crowded event tour? Are they, are you talking about the September 10th memorial that they're doing at UVU? Help refresh my memory on that. But okay, so this is remembering Charlie. Let's see if I can actually. Okay, so it's from December 24th, remembering the boss. How interesting is that, you guys? Do you guys remember when they were like, we were Charlie's friend? We were all Charlie's friend. Charlie was our friend. Looks like he was your boss. It looks like you're saying he's your boss. That's what my argument is that you guys were freaking coworkers. Not that you can't have friendships with people that are your coworkers. You shouldn't necessarily be friends with your boss. I think that, especially in certain line of work, you can't have what is it? I forget the term. I'm losing the term. You can't have a dual relationship conflict. But yeah, these people, in large part, a lot of them came recently, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. They knew Charlie in a professional sense. They saw each other, yes, a lot. Sorry, I don't mean to keep doing this, but sorry. Yes, they saw each other a lot, always in the context of work, though. And Charlie, just so you know, his day was scheduled down to 6-minute intervals. He did not have spare time. Nope. He did not want to hang out with Mikey McCoy and Tyler Boyer and Blake Neff and Andrew Colvette with his spare time. Okay. He spent enough time with them all the time for work, because they work together. They were coworkers. Okay. All of his spare time, which was largely when he started observing the Sabbath, was 1 day a week, was largely his only spare time. But the other 6 days during the week, from the moment he woke up to the moment he went to bed, was blocked out in 6-minute intervals. These people were not Charlie's friend. End of story. You'll never convince me of that. All right, let's get into it. Let me make sure it's the beginning.
A special Christmas episode here, and we wanted to mark the holiday with something very important. I'm here with Danny in the studio, and I believe we also have Mikey from his secret base to the north. Welcome to both of you. You there, Mike?
You guys know where he is, right? Yeah, I'm going to pause it on that ugly face of Mikey McCoy. I'm going to leave it up, too. You know where he is, ladies and gentlemen, right? Let me see the chat. Where is Mikey McCoy in this episode? On Christmas Eve, where's Mikey McCoy filming this episode? You guys know? First one gets credit. Hello, chat. The chat has slowed down. Okay, the lover leave it. Yes, in Charlie's studio. Where? Yes, in Charlie's house. Yes. Correct. I wish we could see a bigger shot of it to see if the wedding picture was still up at this time. The famous wedding picture that got taken down. Yes, it's in Scottsdale. Yes. At Erika's. You guys are all not in Las Vegas. No. It's in Charlie's house. It's his home studio. Okay. Oh, wow. Someone just sent me. I'm going to look at that later. Whoever sent that to me, thank you. Cool. All right, let's continue.
The Charlie Kirk Northern Studio.
Excellent. Yeah. I've never seen the mythical Northern Studio, but perhaps one day.
Okay, so there's an answer. Blake Neff has never been inside of Charlie's house. He's never seen Charlie Kirk's studio. Okay, so now we know, too, the night before Charlie was murdered, when because we have the account of who was on that Zoom call. Okay, Mikey was in the house. Okay, if we can believe Frank Turek and Mikey McCoy were in the house because supposedly Mikey was coming and leaving the office Zoom call. But Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, and Rabbi Wolicki and Josh Hammer were on that Zoom call virtually. So now we know for a fact Blake was virtual. He wasn't there the night before. All right. At least if we can trust what their statements are, which, I mean, I guess take it with a grain of salt because I don't know. But I don't know why you would lie about that. But anyway, yeah. And it just goes to show, like, for one, he wasn't there. Okay. But he said it's said that he was on the Zoom call. Number two, he's never been to Charlie's house and he's worked there since, I don't know, 21 or 23. And yet they were friends. Right. Okay. You never got invited to come over to watch a football game, a baseball game. It doesn't sound like Mikey invited you. They all live in this. They lived in the same condo, condo complex. But Blake has never been there.
Okay. And so today's episode, what we wanted to do, it's our first.
Sorry. So obviously Blake Neff is in the middle. Mikey McCoy's on the right with his very evil grin that he's got going on. Danny Phillips, whose grandfather has interesting ties to some interesting things. You can go back and reference Candace Owens' episode that talks about Danny Phillips and how he was given a job, not just any job, Charlie Kirk's executive assistant. He's the one on the far left. And he was the one that was marking time in the SUV with Blake Neff on September 10th.
It's our first Christmas without Charlie. We all miss him terribly.
You don't look like it. You don't sound like it.
We were thinking, what should we do? We're pre-taping this ahead of Christmas, and we thought what we should do is we should give a chance for everyone on the team who wants to share their favorite stories about Charlie, how funny stuff, how he impacted their lives. So it's not just going to be Mikey, Danny, me. It's where we asked Braden, we asked Kylie, we asked Brian, we asked a lot of people you've never seen on camera, but we wanted to get them a chance to speak up. Some of them can't come on because they are in fact working the cameras right now and can't leave them, but we'll still give them their due. But I guess we have 3 minutes in this cold open segment. So Danny, how about we go with you first? Okay. What's your favorite Charlie tale?
So I have two pretty funny ones. The first one is, like, I'm a big Ohio State fan. And so Charlie and I, Ohio State played Oregon twice last year. And the first time Charlie was actually at the game and Oregon won on like this last second play. And so immediately as soon as the game ends, my phone just starts blowing up from Mikey and Charlie, like trash talking the heck out of me. Just insane. Like, what happened in this game?
Okay, sorry. No, the guy that was at UVU in the light blue sweater is Charlie's other executive assistant, Nate Walker. This is the guy, Danny Phillips, that was in the car with Blake Neff. He was not wearing the light blue sweater. Charlie had 2 executive assistants, Danny Phillips, this guy, and Nate Walker. Nate Walker's the one that was in the light blue sweater who had a full-time babysitter from Brian Harple and Dan Flood's security team, Integrity Security Solutions, chaperoning him everywhere he went that day. But this is Danny Phillips.
Game, like all this crazy
What
stuff.
happened?
Yeah. So then when they ended up playing later in the season, Ohio State
32-31. That must have been an amazing game.
Yeah. And so then they
It
played
was
later
so
in the
good.
season and Ohio State won. And so then I was giving it back to him. And after the game, this like sweatshirt at OSU campus they were selling, it was like the Brutus mascot of Ohio State with a shotgun, like shooting ducks out of the sky. And it said like duck hunting. And so I bought one and I shipped.
It's so sad. He's so young. He doesn't understand the Nintendo game Duck Hunt. That's where the joke is. I guarantee you that's what it's from. You guys remember Duck Hunt from Nintendo? There's a problem with kids these days. They don't know their history.
it to Mikey for Mikey to wear in front of Charlie. And so Mikey wore that to the office in front of Charlie. It's just my get back because I was still at school.
No, Mikey
That's
never
amazing.
wore
People
it.
would always ask why Charlie was an
that
Oregon
game,
fan. And
yeah,
What's interesting is that Mikey had allowed this guy to think that. He told him that, but today he's going to tell Danny Phillips that he actually never wore it in front of Charlie. But right there, you saw Mikey kind of squirm in his seat when Danny said that he wore it in front of Charlie before he passed away, before he was murdered and assassinated. No, Mikey didn't do that.
a
well,
lot
it's
of
actually
comedy.
his family all went there, and
Yep.
because he never went. He never went to college, but he loved sports, so he decided to become a Ducks fan. But that game was also the game where everybody was making fun of Charlie for having earplugs in because it was so loud there.
Yeah, it's the same one because it's
that
so
was
loud.
Charlie had the
amazing.
best hearing.
He got so much
Yeah, you
crap
can't
for
make
that.
fun of him.
Yeah.
And I was always his defender. I
Yeah.
said you should wear earplugs at games. Like you don't need to get hearing damage to prove you're a real
Also,
fan.
I have to admit something live right now.
Please.
This is going to be this is going to shock Danny, really. Danny, I never wore that sweatshirt in front of Charlie.
No.
How could
How does that
you?
make you feel?
Betrayal.
That is a betrayal. That's
Yes.
treacherous. You have to
I
wear
bought it,
You have to
shipped
wear
it
that
to
sweatshirt.
Mikey.
Betrayal to
I told
Charlie.
Charlie about it, and then he never wore
You have
it.
to wear it on the show sometime now, Mikey. That's what you have to do.
I'll wear mine into the office
No,
now.
I would never wear that trash. But let me say this.
I
Let
have
me
a
say
picture
this.
of Mikey wearing
Ohio
it, though.
State, it's very likely that Ohio State and Oregon will play again. And so the question is, Danny, who will your allegiance be to? Charlie's favorite team or this trashy team, Ohio State?
You know, I don't crisscross. So I'm still rooting for the Buckeyes, but if Ohio State were to
Yeah,
lose,
wow.
I would not be upset about it.
We got
Shame.
45 seconds here. Do you have anything fun, Mikey, you want to share?
Well, we were just reminiscing, Blake, from our Asia trip about
Really?
when, how funny of a tourist Charlie was. We're walking through the streets of
So why don't you guys keep in the back of your dome skulls, your brains. Sorry, I put 2 words together, dome and skull. Anyway, that all of the memories they have, all of them are work-related trips. No personal memory to pull from where you and Charlie were hanging out together outside of a work-related trip? Nope. Oh, but they were friends. Okay. They were friends. No. They worked together. I don't know how many times I need to drive that home. Hopefully I've driven it home.
Tokyo, and instead of like traditionally wanting to take pictures in front of beautiful Japanese architecture or whatever it is, whatever the biggest tourist traps are, Charlie saw an Outback Steakhouse and he was like, Blake, Mikey, it's an Outback Steakhouse in Tokyo. We need to take a picture.
And he did.
And so
and
he
he
literally
did.
got
And
a
if he'd
picture
gone
in
there,
front
it
of
would have been
Outback.
the best Outback Steakhouse in the world, I'm sure. We're sharing Christmas. We're sharing stories about Charlie for Christmas. We'll be right back. We are marking the Christmas holiday by remembering our friend, our boss, our mentor.
Watch how uncomfortable this gets. Listen to Blake struggle to articulate this.
The great man.
Yeah.
of Turning Point. Charlie, we're telling our favorite stories about him, what we remember him best for, and we're saying farewell again in a way, but he
Okay.
also will never leave us. And in the cold open segment, we were telling a fun story from Mikey about Charlie. He was so excited to go to Asia, where Daisy is sending us his messages from March of this year.
Wait, what's that? Daisy is sending them Charlie Kirk's messages from March of 2025, because this is in December. So I this is the part that stuck out to me. There's going to be other parts that stick out to me as well, and I hope everyone understands that the significance of this, okay? Because there's been so much controversy, and there still is so much, there's a lack of clarity on what Charlie was doing privately versus publicly, right? And largely that's because of TPUSA. They're literally saying that Charlie said so many things just to them, only to them, personally, not on video. One of them supposedly on video. Where's that video, you guys? Where's the Aspen video? Where's the Aspen video where he supposedly said, I appoint Erika Kirk as Turning Point CEO. She'll do a great job. The board will make a great decision. Whatever happened to that? I haven't made it back far enough, but I haven't seen it in the archive. I mean, Aspen, that is August. I need to go back to August. I haven't made it back that far, actually. So maybe it's hidden in here. Maybe not, though. I don't know that they would hide it in here. Hopefully they do. Fingers crossed. We can check it out later. But my point is, with all of the issues surrounding Charlie Kirk's text messages, signal messages, telegram messages, conversations he was having privately, publicly, the difference, things that he was saying publicly versus what he was saying privately. All of these people are gatekeeping that information and saying that, well, we have access to everything. We have his journal. We have his phone. We had access to Charlie, and he said this to me privately. Oh, he said this to me, but no one else. Let me tell you what he said. This is how Charlie Kirk felt about Candace. This is how Charlie Kirk felt about the Iran war. This is how Charlie Kirk felt about Thomas Massey, about Donald Trump, about J.D. Vance. Yet they would have everything they need to prove their claims and disprove any alternative claims. And yet they haven't. And yet they don't. And I don't think they will. But yet they'll release text messages out of date, out of context, to say whatever they want, to make Charlie hold whatever position that they want him to hold now that he's dead. They can make him oppose a candidate, support a war, just by taking things completely out of context, giving us no full context to a tweet, to a message, to a clip. And they're totally happy and willing to make Charlie be whatever version of him they want. So Daisy has access to his phone. Okay. That's this chick, Daisy. All right.
FYI, in September, I'm taking 2 days off to go to South Korea. I'll do a podcast from there. Just FYI, I really want to speak in Asia. So this looks like a text, right? You guys, it's got the 2 check marks. Maybe this is Signal, because now I want to compare these to the other text messages. So his name in this is Charlie Kirk, and it's got a star. There's no American flag. It looks like whoever's phone this is the purple. And Charlie is the one sending. So this isn't Charlie Kirk's phone that screenshotted this message. But yeah, I'd like to see the rest. So excited. And he was so excited. Mikey told us in the opening bit, he was so excited when he saw a Outback Steakhouse, insisted on immediately taking a photo in front of it. And we have that photo. That is the Japan Outback. I'm sure it's the tastiest Outback you've ever been to.
You guys remember that they said they have all this footage that they said they're going to release and share with the world? Some of it's hidden on this website. Some of it's nowhere to be found.
I kind of want to go there now.
I know.
Like Japanese food is good, but Japanese takes on
drip.
foreign, American, just different countries' foods it's really interesting and incredible, and I can highly recommend it. But we're gonna get
Blake,
stories.
Let's be real. Charlie would not have stopped to eat food. We were walking so fast, and you wanted to see the entire city.
Oh yeah, no, he was a really energetic guy. He just had us drop us at a south end of Shinjuku, I believe was the neighborhood we were in. No, Shibuya. We stopped in Shibuya, and we walked north towards the Meiji Shrine. We went to Don Quixote. He crammed a lot into. We only really spent 2.5 hours walking across the city, but he managed to make a lot of it, as he made a lot of all his time in life. But Danny, you had another very funny story, and it made me raise an eyebrow before the show started. You're gonna have to explain this one. Well.
Yeah. So okay, let's preface with there's not a lot that can catch Charlie off guard, but I think Mikey and I were able to achieve that. So earlier this year we were in Maine, and Charlie's on like this nice hike with Erika, and so while he's doing that, Mikey and I are paddleboarding in the ocean, and Mikey tackled me off of my paddleboard into this like
many times, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that is so a grown married man tackling a young not married man multiple times and bragging about it. I don't know. Is that evidence? Is that circumstantial evidence that, I mean, we all kind of, does that confirm our suspicions about Mikey? You know? Okay. The other thing that I just want to point out is that why was Mikey there on this trip? This was supposedly supposed to be a private, like family trip with Erika and Charlie and the kids before Charlie goes to Asia. Why did they invite Mikey and Danny Phillips along to document this entire trip to Maine? It was like a vacation before he goes on a work trip. And then right when he comes back from Asia, boom, the fall campus debate schedule, campus events started. And so during that time, he's on the road a lot. He's going from campus to campus to campus to campus for like months in a row. And then he's only flying home for like one day a week, sometimes not even that. And so this was supposed to be a family vacation for Erika and Charlie and the kids. And they invite like Rob, and they invite, I think Frank said he was there, and Danny Phillips and Mikey McCoy. Frank might have not been there, but I know that they definitely weren't alone. And Mikey got permission to document the entire thing. Super sus. And that they use all this footage after the assassination to just plaster online, right? To start showing, because they had to introduce the world to Erika Kirk. Most people didn't really know her. Some of us did, that had watched Charlie's stuff and had seen her appear a couple times on the show. Or if you watched any of the CLS or the, Young Women's Leadership Summit speeches where Charlie spoke with Erika, you would have had some exposure to her, but largely nobody knew who she was. So they needed to have footage to show like Erika with Charlie. I don't know. That's my opinion, is that this was by design. This was a deliberate, intentional decision to have Mikey there to film, photograph, and document this family vacation that they should never have been there. An executive assistant too, like on a family vacation, why do you need an executive assistant? And then they're playing like little girls. These two are playing, into
this big thing of seaweed. And so we both get out, and then we're like paddleboarding away, and we're like, our feet are hurting. It turns out we both got stung by jellyfish.
Whoa.
And so we get back to the house, and my foot is like killing me. So I'm running up and down this driveway. It burned. So I'm running up and down this driveway, still in my swimsuit, shirtless. Charlie pulls up in the car from the hike, sees me just running shirtless down the driveway, and he's like, what the heck is going on? We explain that I just got like stung by a jellyfish, and Erika pops out of the car, and her first thing is like, Charlie, you've been drinking so much water. Go pee on him. And I was like, what is happening? And so that did not happen. I said, I would rather lose my foot. And Charlie is like, yeah.
I thought that was weird. I'm going to keep playing it though. That she turned to Charlie and told him to pee on this young man's foot. obviously I know there's ammonia in urine and that like simmers down the pain and the burning of seaweed. I mean, sorry, of a jellyfish sting. Everyone has probably seen that famous Friends episode with Joey, Monica, and Chandler. Obviously. So, but I mean, for Erika to pop up and be like, Charlie, you should do it. I don't know. It just that was just a weird thing to me. Like, out of all the people she could turn to and say to do that, or you could just go get Windex, or you could just go get like vinegar. You can get other things to pour on it to help, simmer down the pain. But that's where Erika's thought was. I thought that was interesting.
That's not happening, Erika. That's never happening. I was like, okay.
Wait,
did your foot get
You're
better?
leaving out a part of the story, Danny. You're leaving out a part of the story where where Betty comes out with a bottle of vinegar. She goes, this will make you feel better. And Elizabeth pours it on you. And Danny screamed at the top of his lungs.
Okay,
like a little girl.
They
No,
call that an Ohio State fight song.
No, I have snapped my ankle in half, like broken stuff. That pain of the white vinegar on the jellyfish sting was so much worse. So then immediately after that, that's when I started running up and down the driveway because the pain was so bad. Yeah,
might have been better if he beat on you.
I heard
that
would have been a lifelong
from through the walls.
creepy bragging rights, I suppose. That's a really funny one.
Yeah.
Mikey, do you have any other ones that you want to share before we start getting into the members of the team?
Yeah, the other thing is Charlie was just notoriously generous. It was something that a lot of people just didn't know behind the scenes. And Charlie's philosophy in giving is that he didn't like telling people about how he gave because he felt like it stole the blessing of it. So all of us.
That's interesting. I believe that about Charlie. Ben Shapiro doesn't have that same practice, right? He went around telling everyone, and same with Andrew Colvette, right? That he gave $1 million after the assassination and made all of his resources of the Daily Wire available to TPUSA. Yeah, that's when Candace was like, oh, heck no. Oh, and remember, Ben Shapiro and a lot of members from the Daily Wire, that first week after the assassination, I think that's the timeline, came on the Turning Point USA show. Like, they had the Daily Wire guys, like, Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles and then Ben Shapiro. And so Candace and all of us had every reason. Yeah. And I think it was before it happened early, because it was before it was announced that Erika Kirk was CEO, because based on the conversation that Andrew Colvette supposedly, he did, tell his version of it, that with Candace Owens, that when she had the conversation with Andrew and was like, and if they try to take over Charlie's organization and the wrong people try to take over and run his organization, then she was like, I'll die before that happens. I'll burn it to the ground. Right. But we and Candace had every reason to suspect, because Erika had not been announced yet, and they were bringing people up as if they were going to be possible replacements. That's what it seemed like coming on the show. Like, it was like test runs to see who was received the best by the community, by the public. And then that's when in the conversation, Andrew was like, no. Oh, whoa. Supposedly he was like, whoa, that's crazy. You got nothing to worry about. Erika's going to be CEO. And then Candace was like, oh, okay. But we had every reason, and so did Candace, to suspect that they were going to try to shove someone else in there that didn't belong. And don't forget, Mikey did one of the first speeches that Charlie was slated to speak, and Mikey did it in his stead. And we were like, oh, they're going to try to shove Mikey in there, right? They were soft launching different people to see who would be accepted by the public, for sure. And that's what our suspicions were, and that's what our skepticism and concern was.
Blake, Danny, myself, churches in this community have so many stories of Charlie's epic and amazing generosity. And we can all just kind of think of that. But I just want the world to know how generous he really was, especially this time of year. He would see something and he'd want it fixed, and he would go above and beyond to show that generosity to so many different people, especially at Christmas time, to random groups too, that they're like, is this the Charlie Kirk donating to us? And it was oftentimes that was the case. So he was just epically generous. And I think both of you guys can agree with that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I remember he asked what I was doing for my birthday this year, which is late August. So this was just before the trip. And I'm not a big birthday guy. So I was like, I don't have much of a plan. And he just said, all right, Danny, you and was it Nate? Nate, it was you and Nate. He's like, you and Nate, just let's go to this restaurant in Scottsdale and just have a fun time with Blake, and I'll pay for it. And he did. And that was a really fun.
Oh, so for your birthday, he didn't come and hang out with you? He gave, which is, it shows that he is generous, yes, but that he didn't have time to go and hang out with you outside of work, right? He paid Nate Walker and Danny Phillips and you to go to dinner, which was a very generous thing for him to do as a gift for you. But supposedly these people were friends with Charlie. No, they were work associates. You see that time and time again. So all of these lies that these people like knew who Charlie was actually friends with and who he wasn't, mainly talking about Candace Owens. None of these people knew Charlie in that personal, intimate level. Okay. Charlie's not talking to them about his personal relationships with Candace Owens. He just wasn't. And it's a total lie. If that existed, you guys, where's the text messages? That's my thing, right? With all of this, it's not they're not above. Is that the right way to say it? It's not beneath them or above them, whatever the saying is, to release certain text messages, whether that's to talk about them on their show, but not show them, or give them to Andrew Wilson, or have Daisy or someone else release them, or to post them on X. So they'll do it. But they can't prove the claims that they make. Oh, Charlie was messaging me behind the scenes that he wanted me to manage Candace Owens. Show it. Where's it at? Doesn't exist. You got to. So my opinion is that they say these things and then they have to create them through some sort of like AI software where, you can create fake messages, or else when they make the claim, they should release the text. Prove it. And they don't.
Memory of mine from this year, just not asked for, not sought after, and he just did it because he was that kind of guy and an amazing person. Yeah. Speaking of Nate,
go ahead.
We want to start getting into these stories. We asked all of our team members, some of whom can't be here or they're working behind the cameras, but we wanted to get
correct. Zamet, yes. Ben Shapiro was the last episode or the last interview on 9/9 before the assassination. And it was clearly, in my opinion, okay, let me read your thing. Shapiro was last interviewed on the Charlie Kirk show on 9/9. The day after he's on the phone with, the day after that, he's on the phone with a dying Charlie Kirk in the car. Nothing odd here. Okay, so I agree. So one of the things that I noticed is that, remember, Andrew Colvett is the one that set that show up. And here, let me just pull something up and just refresh everyone's memory. Okay. Because the way that Ben Shapiro is looking at Charlie Kirk, this one. Okay. Let's see. Where does it start? Here. Wait. Okay, I shared it. This one right here. Do you guys remember this? So this is on 9/9. Okay. And this interview, the episode, whatever, Charlie did not want to do it. When Andrew interviewed with that weird, I think what's his name? Andrew Colvett interview Russ. I think Russ something, not Russell Brand. Oh, hold on. I forgot I need to go to YouTube first. Sorry, I'm like on the fly doing it. What's today's date? The 26th? Okay. No, what the heck? That's not what I said. It's with. Do you guys remember the guy's name? It's that old guy. Here it is. This guy. Okay, it's this guy. And in this interview, oh, that's interesting. Hold on. This is the interview, by the way, where he talks about that. Let me see. Well, let me finish this real quick. So you think that Ben Shapiro like made Andrew Colvett do it, like ordered it, and Andrew Colvett. I think they did it together. Yeah, like they both did it. Like I think whether Andrew, I don't think Andrew reached out to Ben. I agree with that. That like Andrew told, Ben told Andrew that he was going to come on the show, and Andrew made it happen, right? And then Charlie Kirk was like, I don't want to do the interview. And Andrew was like, sorry, man, you got to. And then they like made some sort of deal about it afterwards. Let me read this one. It says, disagree. Shapiro ordered the interview knowing the next day would bring what the next day would bring. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you. Like, watch here. What I can do is transcript. And so the day before, actually, I had booked. Here it is. Let's listen to it.
So the day before, actually, I had booked an interview for him that he was not super pleased that I booked for him, but there was a good reason for doing it. But he was.
So he said he booked it. So just keep that in mind.
He was like, you know what? I'm tired now, and I want to focus on the tour tomorrow. So you're gonna guest host the show tomorrow. So I guest hosted the show that morning. It was, uneventful.
All right. So that's the part, obviously, where he says he booked it. But obviously, we don't have to believe everything that Andrew Colvett says. Okay. Bingo. I think either way, and both can be true. Andrew booked the interview, the show, after speaking with Ben Shapiro, right? That Ben Shapiro like contacted Andrew Colvett because Andrew Colvett is a Zionist. He is. Don't let anyone mislead you on that. He's a Zionist. And obviously Ben is 100%. I mean, he's a Jewish Zionist instead of a Christian Zionist, but not a Zionist nonetheless. And a couple things. They knew that Charlie had spoken out about Israel regarding October 7th, regarding this war in Iran, regarding the bombing, the limited strikes, and opposing a regime change, the Jeffy Epi stuff, the Mossad being connected to the CIA and Jeffy Epi and running this whole operation, getting compromising material on politicians to blackmail them and to control them. So Charlie had been going hard in the paint on Israel on like multiple different topics, about Jewish donors, about the bad intel. Remember when he goes, they lied to us about this, they lied to us about this, they lied to us about this. Sorry if we don't trust you that your intel is good anymore. You're going to have to earn our trust back. You're going to have to prove to us that you haven't been lying to us this whole time, just like they lied to us about 9/11 and the weapons of mass destruction, right? They lied to us about everything. All right. They blew up the USS Liberty. Okay. That wasn't an accident. It's been proven now. That wasn't an accident. Okay. Bibi Netanyahu's been saying that, Iran is weeks away from a nuclear bomb since 1996. Okay. Charlie was waking up to the evil that was that was coming out of the highest parts of the Israeli government, right? Mainly like the Likud party, but nonetheless. And also, don't forget that Charlie just had Dave Smith destroy Josh Hammer at the Student Action Summit. Charlie set that up. Charlie did that. That's the same event that Charlie told Tucker Carlson to go max on Israel regarding Jeffy Epi and the Mossad and all of that. Okay. Go max. Okay. That's also the same event where Charlie and Andrew Colvett sit down with the student leaders for the chapter leadership summit. And all they do is talk about Israel. All of these things were being posted online live. Charlie was singularly focused on the fact that Israel was causing a lot of problems. They were doing a lot of shady things, and that we needed to detach ourselves, decouple ourselves from Israel on all of these different aspects of our country, of our politics, all of it, our militaries, all of it. And Charlie had also in May, it was either March or May, sent Bibi a letter saying that they lost this war, this propaganda war, information war. The hearts and minds of the people here in the United States were done. They've lost the narrative. Okay. And so all of the press had been bad press pretty much since October 7th, right? That was really what did it, right? How could they have allowed this to happen? How could this have happened on their watch? How could they have maybe participated in making it happen? And then the response to October 7th and what they did, and then how they were framing it and lying about it. And that's what, Charlie Kirk was like, they're going to ethnically cleanse Gaza. And, Candace Owens and others were like, yeah, it's a genocide and all genocides are bad. Right. So I think it's very clear that Ben knew so this is my opinion, that Ben knew what was coming for Charlie Kirk the next day, and that he wanted to be the last episode ever on Charlie Kirk's show, and that it was about Israel, right? And now Ben's arguments and statements would live forever, right? And that Ben got to have the last word with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's hands are also largely tied when he's on his show. Yes, he can say things, but remember, he was getting a lot of flack. And so it's not that he was willing to be silent, but he was being very careful and strategic on who he pushed back on, how he did, and what he said. So, I think it was strategic that Andrew Colvett and Ben Shapiro coordinated together to make this the last interview. And that it seems like they had foreknowledge, in my opinion. Hopefully that's what we're all saying here. All right. Thank you for the gift, Zamit. Then Shapiro shows up on the day after show with $1 million donation. Yep. Pretending he cared. Not only that, he's the one that coined the term, pick up the blood-stained mic. That's his phrase. Not only that, he didn't just give $1 million. He offered all of the resources of the Daily Wire and whatever else, security team resources, whatever personal connections Ben Shapiro has to Israel, to the Mossad, to intel agencies. So if you guys remember, I don't know, what's the best part? I don't remember what the best timestamp is on this. Let me go back here, though. Let's continue with what we were doing here.
Their stories. And so Nate, he shared a core memory for me with Charlie. It was going on my first trip with him. I was super nervous. I didn't want to mess anything up. I ordered food for us and the team. And Charlie said, Nate, I hope this food you picked is good. We sat down. He told me to sit across from him because he wanted to get me to know me personally. He asked about my background, my family, my faith, and of course, sports. And
wait, so Nate Walker was Charlie's executive personal assistant, and he was already hired. So, I mean, Nate Walker and Danny Phillips had real, like, up close access to Charlie Kirk. Charlie had no idea who he was. That during this encounter, Charlie is asking him about who he is. Who hired Nate Walker? Wasn't Charlie. Who hired Nate Walker and Danny Phillips? It wasn't Charlie. Remember, they say that Charlie is the one that handpicked everyone. No, it's not. Tyler Boyer and I think Andrew Colvett, right? Andrew Colvett even says it himself that he's the one that found like Alex Clark and, a lot of the other stories about Tyler Boyer handpicking and putting people in specific positions. Charlie didn't even know who Nate Walker was. Look what Ben did to Breitbart, Weasel, turns Locust. Yeah. And they have the audacity to say that like Candace tries to destroy organizations or companies.
And this just showed me the type of guy Charlie was, and I can back that up. Charlie, he would really want to digest what your background was. Yeah. So if only so he could tease you about it. So he was always bringing up that, oh yeah, Blake, you went to Dartmouth. Like I never talk about that, but he would always bring it up, and he would bring up the Dakotas, stuff like that. And I know I think that's how you got your job with Charlie, just talking with him because you were driving him to the airport, right?
Yeah, literally. I was driving to the airport. I was a graduating senior from high school. I was going to college. Him and his then girlfriend, Erika, at the time. And the entire time, he was just asking me questions about myself. And that was Charlie. He wanted to know, he genuinely wanted to know who you were and your story. And it was, I don't know what his criteria was, but he would sometimes be impressed. Sometimes he would just, move on. But I guess I impressed him somehow because afterwards he was like, okay, how about you don't go to college and come work for me? But to Nate.
We'll never know if that story's true. Erika's in the car. This is after Charlie Kirk speaks at Rob McCoy's church, Godspeak Church. And that relationship was set up through Erika Kirk, right? Just like James Cadiz and all of them as well. And that supposedly Charlie was just so utterly impressed with an 18-year-old through a 10-minute, 20-minute conversation on the while Mikey drove him to the airport. And it's the same stupid story that they tell about Erika Kirk. And I don't believe it. Oh, Charlie grilled us on the Constitution, on the founding of America, on history, politics, Socrates, Aristotle, Descartes, whatever. And it was a rapid fire. And I impressed him. And that's the same story that we're supposed to believe about Erika Kirk. We've never heard that story told by anyone else. So I don't believe that Charlie was so impressed. I believe that the hiring of Mikey was mainly pushed on by Erika.
Point about this story, I remember that trip because oftentimes you think it's just a story, but to Charlie it was so much more. And so as he was asking Nate all these questions, he was texting me and he was like, wow, Nate's an awesome guy. He comes from a great family. And I was like getting the updates from the story of what he was impressed with in real time. And he wanted to not just be impressed by you, but wanted to share how impressive you were with the world and who you came in contact with. To what you brought up, Blake, you never even talked about how you went to Dartmouth, but Charlie would oftentimes tell a lot of people that you went to Dartmouth. It's like,
he would do that. He took a lot of pride in his team. He loved us and we loved him. We have a clip. This was sent to us by Catherine. I think we can get it in before the break. Let's play clip 181.
That one.
Because he's just the perfect width. Not too fat, not too skinny.
You like that tree?
Yes, it's the best one remaining.
But we got the right one.
This one's perfect. All right, we're done. These little things?
No. Are you the tree expert?
I'm the tree expert. After many decades of living in the Midwest, I know a good tree. It's the best one they had remaining.
That was Charlie hunting for Christmas trees. You can tell that's so Charlie. He's like, I need to pick one. We picked it out. I'm an expert. Got the right one. We're telling Christmas stories about Charlie. We will be right back. We are marking Christmas by sharing our staff's favorite memories of Charlie Kirk, the man, the friend, the mentor, the boss. the everything. So we've got some of our team members. I really wanted to share these ones because these are some of the guys that you very rarely see, except in the background of some tabling events and so on. The studio crew. I wanted them to come on camera, and they told me that emphatically they could not do this. So let's dive into it. We've got Brian. He is.
All right, now I want to hop over to another one that I have pulled up. All right, do you guys remember this? This is from December 3rd. The Charlie Kirk Show responds to Candace Owens. Okay.
Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. We're going to be talking to Frank Turk about the Sabbath and Charlie's upcoming book in just a moment. But first, we wanted to use this segment at the top of this hour to say something important, something very important. For the past 2.5 months, there is a topic that has flooded our Freedom inbox. It has been nonstop on social media, but which we have almost totally avoided on this show. You probably already know what I'm talking about, which shows just how ubiquitous it has been. Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees. She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie.
No. So once again, they are misrepresenting what Candace actually said. I remember when this came out, right? This is actually right around the time that Candace sat down with Erika Kirk, and it's supposedly the time frame when Mikey McCoy reached out and said to investigate Andrew Colvett back in December. But really, this was a couple weeks after the Mikey McCoy, Blake Neff walking away video was released, right? That he had his phone to his ear and 0.83 seconds, so not even a full second, he turns around and walks away with the phone to his ear. They lied to us about Mikey McCoy being miraculous, marvelous, extravagant, or extra special, the general that day. And they lied to us about his call logs. They lied about him being, trained to call Erika and then didn't call Erika. There was reason to be suspicious about Mikey McCoy, and there still is, and Blake Neff.
She has suggested Michael is not his real name. It is. I have seen his birth certificate myself. She has called it suspicious that Mikey's wife, who works at Turning Point, helped plan the campus tour event where Charlie was murdered, which she didn't, by the way. She doesn't work on campus events.
She works on events. I mean, she's the one that planned for the canopy replica. It's not the exact same one, but it's a replica of the same one that Charlie was murdered under. And then they had it at events after the assassination with a picture of Charlie, and you could stand under that canopy and take a picture with Charlie Kirk. That was done by Elizabeth McCoy. She does do events.
Candace has suggested the Utah Valley University event was unusual, and its details suggested a, quote, inside job. She has claimed that foreign aircraft have followed Erika Kirk around the country, and that Turning Point has lied about this happening.
Hold up. So it was an abnormal event, right? It got put together in a matter of 2 months, and a lot of, and we covered this yesterday with the security plan that, there was no security plan. There was none. None of the things that needed to happen, especially after Butler, happened. There was no communication with local police, with the UVU police, except for on the day of, the Monday and then the day of, where the top of the Hall of Flags was blocked off. And this is where I want to go back and see what some of the things they said. The text doesn't mention rocks. So before that, we had seen the text, right? When Brian Harple shared the text on the Sean Ryan show, and this is where I got confused. I thought the text came from that day, because when they had retold the story, they said that they were told that people had access to the Hall of Flags and were throwing rocks down on the tent. Well, the tent wasn't set up on Monday. The canopy that Charlie sat underneath, that was set up that morning. We have pictures. Brian Harple and Dan Flood and others are there setting that canopy up that morning. So But the text that Brian Harple showed on the Sean Ryan show is from Monday, and it mentions nothing about rocks. It just says, we've been told that students have access to a roof that's above Charlie Kirk, and we want it blocked off. We want no one to have access up there. And can we put someone up there, or you put someone up there? And Chief Long said, yeah, you're good to go. You could, I got you covered. But then we hear this story about supposedly somebody saying that the threat was them throwing rocks down, but we never see a text about rocks. That's just something they added after the fact, which doesn't make sense, because if Chief Long had already said he's blocking it off, well, they didn't even block it off until, after this supposed rock situation happened the morning of. And there's actually photos of them when they're blocking it off. I also think that it's possible that story's total BS, the rock story, and that the text sent by Dan Flood and Brian Harple actually is to make sure no students could be up there, because what they did, you guys, let me show you real quick. They wanted to make sure nobody, right, could see the Losi Center roof to be able to sound the alarm that somebody's on a roof over there. So in my opinion, this is my opinion, that's why they asked him to block it off, because they asked it on Monday, which was long before any rocks were thrown on any supposed rocks were supposedly thrown on any canopy. So then what was the real threat above Charlie on the Monday? Well, in my opinion, it's a made-up threat. I mean, yes, people could throw things down, okay? But that really, they would want to make sure that there was no one up there to be able to see any, whoever the individual is on top of the Losi Center, and to sound the alarm, to be like, hey, stop, there's a person on the roof. So they put Officer Bagley and a security team member up there. Candace Owens feels responsible that she wasn't able to protect her little brother. Yep. But she's no longer alone. America is in the foxhole with her. 100%. 100%. God bless you, Matt. Thank you, Zamet. God bless you. I was wanting to, man, I'm not going to, okay. Hopefully everybody, I don't know. Never mind. Google Earth. And I think I've shown this to you guys plenty of times, but just, it's a great visual to be able to see why I think they would need to ensure that nobody was on top of the Hall of Flags to be able to see, right? So we're going to go here, and then I can back up. So the Hall of Flags is down here, okay? And if we zoom in more, it was blocked off from all the way over here. And in fact, people were just like up here, okay? And then it was blocked off way, I think it's this line. It might even have been this double concrete block right there. And it was all blocked off. So nobody could have direct line of sight to the Losi Center corner over here to be able to sound the alarm. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erika to take over for him if he died. She has suggested Charlie's security team intentionally denied him first aid after the shooting to ensure that he died. She has raised suspicions about the head of our technical team because he took an SD card out of a camera. She has spread absurd claims that Tyler Boyer, who we just had on the show, sexually abuses male interns. She has suggested that TPUSA faith-affiliated pastors, like theologian Frank Turek, who we'll have on in a moment, and Pastor Rob McCoy, are part of a military, quote, infiltration of Turning Point, either because they are veterans or because they have family members who are. Even if not everyone has been named specifically, though, Candace has effectively tarred everyone here with complicity in Charlie's death by repeatedly saying he was, quote, betrayed by, quote, everyone. She has said Charlie's murder, quote, had to be approved by Charlie's friends, and then suggested those friends might have her murdered too.
Do you guys remember when this came out and how wildly misrepresented? Hold on, I'm going to click something. How wildly misrepresented her statements were by these guys. Just completely lying about what Candace Owens' positions were from September 10th up until the point where he read this. She largely was silent until October, November timeframe. And though he is saying some of the positions, but he's taken complete creative license to distort and to manipulate and to change them so that they sound so much worse than they actually were. It's a total straw man. They're not real. These aren't the positions that she held. Psalms 31:24, sending with prayers for your mom. Oh, thank you, Granny loves Jesus. Yeah, I called her and texted her today. She hasn't called me back. So thank you.
Or quote, knowing the truth. She has made claims of financial impropriety and fraud at Turning Point, adding up into the millions of dollars, which again is not true. Charlie made sure the organization was audited by a third party every year. He personally reviewed and he signed off on every expense report, and literally every single bill paid by the organization down to a single United States dollar.
Okay, here's the thing. You know what they have in these massive organizations? It's kind of like an auto pen. They have like a stamp with Charlie Kirk's signature. There's no way Charlie could have signed off on every single expense report from Turning Point Action, Turning Point USA, Turning Point Faith. He was gone. He was on the road 325 to 350 days a year. There's just no way, number one, this third-party auditing agency was super sus. They had their own issues. They never did good audits, okay? I think Charlie found out about that. I don't think Charlie's the one that selected this company to do the audits. They're normal audits, okay? But that he wrote on September 2nd that he was going to be conducting a Doge-style audit of everything. And that he wanted efficiency. He wanted to know where money was coming from and where it was going, who was giving it and why, who had any undue influence over Turning Point and all of its affiliates. And he wanted a complete reshaping of the company culture in all of the different affiliates. Okay. A Doge style effort is not audit. It's not the same as your annual audit that you do with the same stupid. If that were true, if it's just a normal yearly, annual audit with the company that you guys go to every year, why is Charlie writing it in a memo? Why is he writing a company-wide email to everyone in the same email where he's saying like, hey, I'm appointing Justin Strife as COO and I'm empowering him with these 4 duties. The first one being the Doge style effort for, efficiency, right? It's not the same. And so the lying, the misrepresenting of other people's positions about Turning Point, largely Candace Owens, but she held most of what all of our positions were. She just held it on, a higher level so for all to hear. They completely have been lying from the very beginning. And over the next, few weeks and months, I'll be looking back on my own at when this all, obviously it started at the very beginning, but we'll be able to pull out specific moments where they the whole thing, they're just lying about. All right, you're the same age as my baby guy. No wonder. I love you. Thank you. Yeah, 41, August 5th, 1985. It's an easy date of birth to remember, 8/5/85.
We have never missed a 990 deadline. Candace has made other stranger allegations involving...
Why did the head of the Treasury Department, what's his name, Besant, why did he feel the need to write and these guys' job is not to write a letter to the world saying, we've looked into Turning Point USA's books. They're all good. Do you guys remember that? Scott Besant wrote a letter when all of this was going down after Danks had done a lot of research and investigating into the financial crime or, the financial improprieties that were going on. And then you have Wolves in Finance was doing it too. So there was a lot of clouds over Turning Point with the finances, right? And then you find out people, like Tyler Boyer and Stacey Sheridan and what's the other guy's name? Brad Pascal. they needed someone to try to like stamp of approval. Like, no, everything's above board. I'm Scott Bessent, the Treasury, head of the Treasury for this administration. We're all good here. Nothing to see here. Everybody move on. That's not suspicious. Holy smokes. Why the heck who tasked him to do that? What, Erika called up and said, hey, Scott, I need you to write me a letter. Trump? Bibi? Vance? Who got him to write that? Why?
French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah.
See, they can't even get that right. It wasn't that the guys in the maroon shirts were French paratroopers. No one should take these people seriously. Nobody, if they can't even be honest in their representation of the claims that Candace or anyone else have made for that matter, if they can't actually just be honest about how they represent the accusations and claims that are being leveled at them, nobody should take them seriously, because in their dishonest representation of the claims and allegations made against them, now they're going to then argue against them. Like, oh, but you're not even restating and framing our claims and the allegations accurately. It's insane, these guys.
And potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels.
No.
At one point in early November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley's soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There is always something new coming up, and none of it ever pans out because from the start, there has been nothing there. The attacks and allegations from Candace are either lies or they are innuendos thrown around with a total reckless disregard for the truth, so that Candace can manipulate and string along an audience of people who don't realize they are being played. Instead of being able to grieve properly after one of the most heinous murders in American history, a murder many of us had to witness, my friends have had to endure harassment from people who have gotten whipped up by what Candace is saying. In fact, I would say we have suffered more harassment from these people than we have from Antifa supporters who overtly celebrate Charlie's murder. And just like a lot of those Antifa members, many of these people take this delight in how gross and unpleasant they can be.
Really?
What our friends have had to endure is not funny, and it's not insignificant. It is evil. I have seen it.
Look at these guys that play the victim card. I wonder who wrote that. He's reading it off a piece of paper. I wonder who crafted that response and made him get up there and say it. Do you think it was Andrew Colvette? Do you think it was Erika Kirk? Who do you guys think it was? Tyler Boyer, Stacey Sheridan, all of them together? Who do you guys think put him up to this? He's not the one that crafted it and wrote it.
For months, we have received hundreds, thousands, I suspect, emails and calls asking us to respond. People have wanted us to invite Candace on the show, but for a long time, our approach was to say nothing. We did that for several reasons. First, we thought that her prevarications were so absurd that nobody would believe them. We shouldn't have to answer questions about secret tunnels or Egyptian Air Force planes. That sort of thing is just, it's beneath contempt to respond to.
Right.
The second reason we've said so little, though, is because there's a good rule of thumb, which Charlie followed. Do not feed the trolls. Focus on the mission.
Has that really been their practice, guys? Don't feed the trolls? So he's saying that the reason why they have not responded is because of Charlie's practice, don't feed the trolls. And yet that's like literally what they've been doing. Maybe they hadn't done it at that point. So then when did they abandon Charlie's position to don't feed the trolls? Because you guys have used yourselves, Charlie's show, to feed the trolls nonstop. Erika Kirk has done the same thing. You guys are blasting it on X. You're going on X Spaces. You're posting. You're having other people do it like Gary Melton and now Andrew Wilson. You're not employing Charlie's, if that was really Charlie's position, to not feed the trolls. So this is just a BS excuse and try to put it on Charlie. Like, oh, we're following Charlie's lead here.
Reviving America, uplifting young people, making heaven crowded. Don't give air to people who want to tear you down and sow discord. Lastly, we didn't respond because
you're wrong.
Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend, and
What? What? Can we hear that again? Someone's got to clip this. Someone's got to clip this and remind Andrew Colvett and Blake Neff what Blake Neff said on this date. Okay? So remember, the claim is now. And the claim is, by the way, thank you, Granny Loves Jesus. Happy belated birthday. Mine was 8/13/30, years before Surf for Truth. Thank you. That's very sweet. Two kinds of humans, givers and takers. They're takers. I agree. Okay, but right now, do you guys remember, they're arguing, Blake has made this argument, and so is Andrew Colvett, that Candace and Charlie were not friends. Blake said it himself right here in December 2025 that Charlie viewed Candace as a friend. We need to clip this and tag them and post this and remind them of what he said.
To tear you down and sow discord. Lastly, we didn't respond because Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend, and we were holding out hope that she would return that friendship and stop what she was doing.
Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend. Please, we need to remind them. This is how bad their psyop is. It's like they all have selective amnesia. Your own words in December, Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend. Your position today, Charlie was not friends with Candace Owens. Charlie had Andrew Colvett running damage control to try to manage and handle Candace Owens so she didn't destroy the organization. Sorry, both cannot be true. And here you are in December 25 saying, because you didn't know what the future held, right? But we'll remind you of what you guys said. Yeah, we believe Candace. She's not the one that's come out here with a track record of completely contradicting themselves time and time and time again, being caught in lies time and time and time again. That's you guys. And when I fall upon things like this, it just like reinvigorates how pissed off I am that all of you act like you're doing this for Charlie. Act like your guys are, that you're friends, that you are friends, personal friends of Charlie's, and that only you guys and Erika care and love Charlie and are protecting his legacy. Nope. Sorry, you don't get to do that, bud. I think most of us in the public who actually followed Charlie, I don't even think you ever followed Charlie, bro. You were too busy writing racist tweets through an anonymous handle at Asian women and black women. You weren't following Charlie. No way. You were writing for Stu Peters and Tucker Carlson. You found out about Charlie when Charlie gave you a second chance. And this is how you repay him. Disgusting, evil. But I can't say that I'm surprised when I look at the kind of man you are with just your own public perception, how you allow us to view you based on your public statements and how you act and how you behave and how you treat others, what you say about others. You're not a man, bro. None of the people there are. Andrew Colvett, nope. Mikey McCoy, nope. Frank Turk, none of them. None of you are. You talk about beta, low T males. Go look in the freaking mirror, bro. How about you hop on a jujitsu mat with me and we'll see who's a low T beta male. Challenge extended anytime, buddy. You out here trying to lie about Candace and lie about Charlie. It's freaking gross.
But a week from now, it's going to be 3 months since Charlie's murder.
Yep.
Candace has not changed her behavior. She has continued to spread falsehoods about Charlie's friends, and she continues to concoct new ones.
Oh, they're friends. Charlie's friends. Your coworkers, bro. Your coworkers. Okay? He was your boss. By your own admission, remembering Charlie, our boss.
About new people. She's using these falsehoods to enrich herself while dividing the conservative movement at an absolutely critical time for this country.
Oh, go vote.
And far too often, we here have heard from ordinary people, people who loved Charlie and who Charlie loved so much in return. These people have expressed the worry that we are staying silent out of cowardice or as some sort of tacit admission that some of the attacks are true. Neither is the case. Our silence has never been, and it will never be, equal to complacency or approval. Still, we decided Charlie would not allow this to go on. Charlie was not a coward. Charlie was a fighter. Charlie would not allow someone to spread lies about the people closest to him with impunity.
Okay.
And he would feel ashamed if other people were stepping up to defend his friends while he never did so himself. Candace has mentioned several times that the ball is in our court. So here's what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here in Phoenix where we address in a clear and comprehensive way the claims and accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point. We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly.
Really?
If Candace is available, we would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio here in Phoenix. At this point, we believe the ball is back in her court. Our motivation for doing this is not out of any obligation to Candace. It is about honoring Charlie. We feel a deep responsibility to protect his legacy, his work, and the truth. I feel that. I owe Charlie everything in my life.
Hey, pop quiz. What's Charlie's legacy? What's his legacy? Yeah, you feel a deep responsibility. You just got here, bro. You just got here. What are you talking about?
I feel it immensely.
Hmm.
And that is why we feel compelled to speak clearly and openly now. We'll have more on this in the near future. All right. Frank Turek, are you there?
So weird.
Well said, Blake. Yes, I'm here. And
hold on.
I just want to say that the night before,
here we go.
Charlie was murdered.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this, but I went into his office.
I'm not just saying this. Oh, that's how you begin every statement.
After we had a meeting. You were in the meeting, Blake, me, you, Charlie, and some other folks. And he was going to dinner. And he said, hey, you're going to dinner with Blake and Danny.
Danny Phillips.
He said, Blake is my secret weapon. He's the smartest man I know. And he loved you. And for anybody to suggest, whether it's Candace Owens or any other person within TPUSA was somehow complicit in his murder, is to say that Charlie Kirk was such a bad judge of character that he put a bunch of traitors around him.
So, first of all, Charlie didn't handpick any of these people. That's lie number one. Okay? Andrew Colvett was forced on him. When Charlie had the choice, Charlie was ghosting Andrew Colvett. Okay? Andrew was forced on Charlie by some sort of manufactured crisis that was unable to be handled by whoever was around him at the time. Do your freaking jobs. And then he wouldn't have needed Andrew. Okay? Blake Neff gets thrown on him by Andrew and by Tyler Boyer. All the people that ended up around him either came through Andrew Colvett, Tyler Boyer, or Erika Kirk. That's why the organization drastically changed after 2018. 2018, that's the entrance of Erika and Andrew. Okay, Andrew was first, Andrew Colvett, and then Erika. After that, everything changed. Charlie didn't handpick everyone. That's lie number one. Okay. Number two is that Charlie, being as smart as and intellectually, gifted as he was, as book smart as he was, being an autodidact, taught, he avid reader, that there's no way he had other weaknesses, like he was a Christ-like being or something, like he had no imperfections. He had no blind spots in his life. clearly the interpersonal aspect of things, Charlie was not good at. Okay. Can you imagine what it was like at the age? So went to high school, graduated, doesn't go to college. Okay. And then immediately at the age of 18 is thrust into this adult arena with vipers and liars and grifters and people that all wanted to hitch their wagon to Charlie. And at 18 and naive to the world, naive to people, how fake and how you shouldn't trust people, right? Charlie clearly was not great at discerning whose certain people's true nature was. Okay. Because he would have been able then to spot out Greg Laurie, Frank Turek, James Cadiz, Rob McCoy, Erika Kirk, at the time, Erica Francevay, and all the people that remain there after the fact. I'm sure that there were hundreds, dozens of good, well-meaning, honest Christians that, made up the lower ranks of the organization. But, Stacey Sheridan, come on. Brad Parscale, come on. These people, not good people. And yet, they started working for Turning Point USA. Who's the one that vouched for them? Wasn't Charlie. That got outsourced. The hiring, the firing, the vouching. No, I promise, Charlie, you can trust this person. This person's good. I give you my word. Okay. Charlie spent his time and energy and his mind on other things. He had too much to handle. That was not on his list. So don't believe the lie that that Frank Turk's going to tell you right now, that there's no way Charlie would have hired all these people if they weren't good people. Like Charlie would have known, because he was some perfect being that was all knowing and could see the future and could see through people's lies. Sorry, just not true. I would say out of all the things that Charlie had a weakness in, being able to discern people's true nature and character was a weakness for him. Are you saying that the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are all watching all of these individuals since September 10th up until today, that we all separately have all come to the same conclusion that these people seem to be suspicious, they seem to be dishonest, they seem to be evil? Oh, we're all wrong? They're right. We're wrong? Sorry. The stats aren't on your side. There's way more of us than there are of you. As much as they lie, they should be better at this. Yeah, I agree. That's why I go back and forth with thinking like they are intentionally, I don't know, like doing it like this. I don't understand it. Yeah. Let's hop here because we just heard Blake Poo put the ball in Candace's court. Let's hear their response about it. After Candace is like, I'm not going to come there live. I'm not going to be there. We can do it live. I can do it from my house. I'm not coming to Arizona. I'm not coming into that headquarters. I don't trust you guys. Let's do it via, a Zoom link through, StreamYard or whatever.
Country, Real America's Voice, streaming, all the things. Blake, happy Monday.
Is it?
Yeah, well.
Happy we got to Monday.
A lot of stuff went down this weekend, not the least of which, I just want to call out the elephant in the room. We had invited Candace Owens to be a part of a live stream today on this show, later today after our live show. She, of course, declined to show up in person. And then over the weekend, Erika Kirk announced that she's going to be meeting privately. And so with her. And so
sometime today.
And so per that tweet, she said basically all live streams, public discussions, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting.
We'll see what unfolds.
But don't forget, and I got it pulled up. Because look at the clothes, look at what he's wearing. Okay. Now look at this. Not the same video. It is the same day. And what do you know? Gary Melton comes on. So Erika's statement that there will be No public discussions, no live streams, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting. Erika lied. Okay, Erika lied, and we'll look at that next.
We'll see what unfolds.
So we will see what unfolds. We are prepped, ready, either way. So that's basically where we're going to leave that discussion. And, you know, we're actually going to have Paramount Tactical, Gary Melton, on the show at the halfway point in this hour. We're going to just talk about some of the...
We're going to have two different guests, I believe, talking about
Viva Fry is going to come on and talk about why he believes Tyler is the shooter. He's going to go through some of the evidence, and he's also going to talk about his own little sort of spats and squabbles on social media. And then we are going to, like I said, Gary Melton from Paramount Tactical, ballistics expert. He's also visited the campus of UVU since and retraced the steps of Tyler Robinson. All that and more will happen today. And then we're going to get into how Charlie was kind of a modern day It's a Wonderful Life story.
Yeah. It's an interesting pitch. It's a friend of Chris Rufo reached out and said,
yeah, and I have a longer clip of that, but let's go here real quick.
Gary, I just want to give you a chance. Just, explain your background, how people can follow you. You got about a minute.
Yeah, no worries. Number one, like I said, 9/11 happened a couple of days later. I was in a recruiting station, ended up with the initial push into Iraq. I was a sniper team leader during that tour. That came back, went special operations, did 3 more combat tours, multiple training tours. Ended up working as a special tactics instructor for a federal agency. And long story short, I wanted to work for myself. So I opened up Paramount Tactical Solutions. We offer training to civilians, military and law enforcement, and from basic to advanced, whether it's handgun. We kind of specialize. We're known for long range. So you can find us at ParamountTactical.com. On top of that, you can also go check out our YouTube channel, Paramount Tactical, and as well as our X account, Instagram. Look for Paramount Tactical. You'll find us.
Yeah, I love that.
We'd love to help you.
You've been doing great work. I just everybody should follow Gary's work. He is I reference him all the time, and we're going to get into ballistics. Do bullets do weird?
So Gary's great. I reference him all the time. This was 8 months ago, December 15th, right? This is right after that contract, right? That Gary received. Interesting. That right after they ask Candace to do this live stream, and then they put a weird stipulation that she has to do it in person, even though Gary's doing his thing virtual right now. Why couldn't she have done it virtual? Because they knew that she wasn't going to come in person. So it wasn't a real offer. If it was a real offer, they would have gone through great lengths to make it work no matter what. So it was never about being on the same, stream and answering and going back and forth. They could never have done that. They would have gotten destroyed. Right. And then the meeting with Erika Kirk had to be behind closed doors, not televised. And then they promised that no other streams were going to be happening. And then they have Gary on. And don't forget, Gary was against the official narrative until he got that contract. So there's that.
Weird things. I'm going to ask Gary that when we welcome back National Radio. 1 sec.
Hold up.
We have Gary Melton from Paramount Tactical. Great follow online. If you want the truth, and actually I think kind of an honest observer, outside observer's view of some of the conspiracy theories that are going on. So Gary, everybody that I've talked to since all this happened that's been in combat, everybody that I know in that role that's actually seen live fire in combat says that bullets do weird things. What do they mean by that when they say that?
Look, when we talk about ballistics, we have internal, external, and terminal.
So definitely not everyone, remember, not everyone, because we have Rob O'Neill, the Navy SEAL. We have Mike Ritland. We have Mike Glover, the SAS sniper, also none of them. And then the dozens of people that are other military men, servicemen and women, law enforcement, FBI agents, like all sorts of people have weighed in on this and go, That's not a 30-06. No exit wound? Nope, no way. Bro, why are you doing live so early this week? I have you on in the background while I work. Laugh out loud. I just want to say that Andrew Wilson, Andrew Colvett, and Snake Neff are the most diabolical, fake, and gay Christians ever. Yes. Well, a couple things. I've been doing them earlier. Candace is gone this week. Baron has been going earlier, and I was trying to go earlier because a lot of people that normally don't tune in, because I usually don't go live until 7. I was going to try to make it to where other people could go live earlier. Plus, I had things planned this week with family. Like tonight, I'm going to the fair with my wife and kids. And so I had to go earlier today so that I can go to the fair with them. So hopefully you don't hold it against me. All right, let me get back to, so where is, hold on. I'm finding the timestamp. So that one's done. Here, let's hear this.
If there's anything I knew about Charlie Kirk, is he knew how to spot talent and integrity and people that wanted to make a difference for the Lord and the country. Yeah. Charlie was brilliant at that. It takes a lot more faith to believe that Charlie didn't know who his friends were and picked all the wrong people to surround him, to build an organization that came from nothing to the most powerful conservative organization in the country. In 13 years, he built it, and it was big before 13 years. You know, he really got it moving in about 7 or 8 years later. It strains credulity to suggest that people within that organization, people that he handpicked himself,
he didn't,
somehow murdered him.
He didn't.
If you're going to suggest that, you better have a lot of evidence, and I have seen none of it. It's unconscionable that anyone would say this without evidence.
All right. Well, let's take a look at something that Zach showed today. So this is between Brett Weinstein and Charlie Kirk. The proponents for regime change have pivoted the last 24 hours. They know they are losing, and their position is indefensible and unpopular. Keep the pressure on. Charlie Kirk, right? Okay, right there with you, Charlie. We have to shut these maniacs down. Not only is the Republic depending on it, but the citizens of Israel are too. This is about opposing the war, okay? Opposing the strikes, opposing regime change, opposing all of it. Charlie says, thank you. I totally agree. Brett says, and by the way, I think the president needs us to keep the pressure on. The neocons, right? I think, or is Charlie in the blue? No, yeah. Charlie's in the black. Okay, Brett's in the blue. The neocons are very vocal and admittedly powerful, but the public does not want war, especially not to be dragged into one by a belligerent Israeli regime, specifically blaming Israel and the regime, Israeli regime, for trying to drag us into the war. Charlie says, I know. What does he say up here about the Republic depending on it and the citizens of Israel? So that's opposing the neocons, those that have that were never Trumpers, that have taken over the MAGA America First movement, right? That we need to do more and shut these maniacs down. Charlie goes, thank you. I totally agree. So back down to here after the statement about the belligerent Israeli regime, Charlie says, I know we need to do better. I have a theory on this, which is the power of dissident media in a very good retroactively and uncovering injustice or scandal, COVID Ukraine border. That came out really weird how I read that. I have a theory on this, which is the power of dissident media in very good retroactively. Oh, that is very good. Sorry. Dissident media that is very good retroactively at uncovering injustice or scandal, COVID, Ukraine, border, etc. We are not good at driving real-time mass public opinion yet. but the neocons are. And then Charlie says, I'm doing all I can. Truly, I was in the White House all day fighting for America. Same tomorrow. And that is when Joe Kent and him have an interaction in the White House. And he begs Joe Kent to save America from this war, to keep us out of this war with Iran on behalf of Israel. Charlie agreed. Charlie spent 2 days, 48 hours fighting for us. Trump didn't listen. So even though it looks like Charlie maybe won that argument against Bibi, nope. What I believe happened, because you guys, wars get planned years in advance. These things are so much more than they ever claim and present themselves to be. They realized, especially that Charlie spent 2 days fighting to keep us out of the war. And I believe that Bibi spent, he visited the White House 6 times in 1 year. I guarantee you that White House is full of bugs everywhere. And, you know, maybe the pager, that gift pager that was given to Trump and is inside the Oval Office, probably has a recording listening device, and it goes right back to Tel Aviv. But they realized, or even whoever is in Trump's, office with him when Charlie's, fighting for us, the word gets back to Bibi. Oh, not that Charlie hadn't already become a thorn in their side, but it became clear that the war, that the real war, the regime change, and the full-blown war with Iran was going to have to be put on pause until they take Charlie Kirk out, because there's no way, the PR spinners would have been able to salvage that if Charlie was alive when they conducted the regime change and when they declared war, which happened in February and March of 2026. And so I think they allowed Charlie to think that he had made a difference, with it becoming only a limited strike on the nuclear power sites, right? But that literally, it was just a pause. They were just pausing it until they could take Charlie out of the way, in my opinion. Gifted one Black Line Brief membership. Thank you, Laura Loves. Zamet. These guys turned TPUSA into Tipping Point USA. Yeah, sure did. Sure did.
You can slander. You can say, what if? You can have all sorts of innuendos and insinuations. That's not evidence. You can have dreams. You can have hunches. You can have vibes. That is not evidence.
Yeah.
What is evidence? Lance Twiggs's hearsay testimony, really bad DNA and ballistic evidence that doesn't match to the bullet doesn't match conclusively to the rifle. Missing bullet fragments from what supposedly was retrieved from Charlie's body and what was sent to the ATF. The DNA being the most degraded, Tyler Robinson's DNA being the most degraded on the rifle, even though he supposedly shoved it down his pants on a 90-degree day, wore long pants and a long sleeve black shirt, and clearly would have sweated all over that, and his DNA would have been all over that rifle, and yet his DNA was the most degraded. Not to mention they combined multiple different swabs from different parts of the rifle so that they could put it together with the trigger so that they could increase the chances that Tyler Robinson's DNA could be then lumped on the trigger result. The rifle being found only after the FBI showed up. The bomb-sniffing dogs missed it. The screwdriver was initially located in the woods, but then realized they needed to put him on the roof because the surveillance footage on the roof is so bad and doesn't conclusively show who that is at all. That evidence, all the evidence that doesn't have timestamps, missing chunks of the surveillance and other footage of the supposed would-be assassin, which is not Tyler Robinson. The horrible text messages and Discord messages, the supposed statements of Tyler's mom and dad, which have never been, verified to be from them. The statement by Mike Mitchell and Lance Twiggs after 6 months, 7 months goes by in March, and then they sing like a canary and say everything that the prosecution wants them to say. The motive not being there. Lance Twigg said that Tyler Robinson never talked about Charlie Kirk, never said his name, and never talked about leftist, trans, political stuff like that. Ever. No motive is there. So what evidence are you talking about? There's nothing that puts Tyler Robinson conclusively on campus that day, let alone on campus on the Losi Center roof at 12:23 with a rifle, with a loaded rifle. Nothing. There's no proof. There's more evidence that this seems to be a frame job, a bad one at that. But when you control all levers of government from top to bottom, it doesn't really have to be perfect. It doesn't matter. They control the outcome anyway. And it's almost like we want you to know that we're lying and we're framing this kid and that there's nothing you can do about it. To me, that's another reason why they're doing it this way. It's because they want you to know that you're powerless or believe that you are. They want to shove it in your face that they know that we know. We know you know that we're framing him. We know. That's why we're doing it this way. So it's obvious. What are you going to do about it? Do something. I dare you. What? What are you going to do? To me, I think that's the strongest argument of why it is as bad of a job as it is that it's been. 9/9/2025, Doha, Qatar. Yeah, the day before Charlie Kirk. Yep. Wait, let me Google that because I think you gave a super chat before. Let's see what it says. Wait, is my super chat still up? Let me pull this down for a second. Whoops. Let me go like this for a second. All right, so it says on September 9th, 2025, the Israel Defense Force, the IDF, conducted an unprecedented long-range airstrike in Doha, Qatar, targeting the senior political and negotiating leadership of Hamas. The strikes marked the first time Israel has ever directly attacked Qatar or any member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. The target. Israeli fighter jets targeted a residential compound in the upscale West Bay Lagoon, Lek-Tiafia district of Doha. The complex housed members of the Hamas political bureau who were meeting to discuss a U.S.-sponsored Gaza ceasefire proposal. Oh, ceasefire. The operation. The assault involved more than 10 Israeli fighter jets requiring mid-air refueling to fire over 10 precision munitions at a single target. Casualties. The targeted high-ranking leaders, including Hamas chief negotiator Khalil al-Hayya, survived the attack. However, 6 people were killed. The fatalities included al-Hayya's son, his office director, 3 other lower-ranking Hamas employees, and 1 Qatar internal security force officer. Right? The retaliation claim, the IDF and Israeli leadership stated that the strike was authorized following a shooting at a Jerusalem bus stop the day prior, for which Hamas armed wing had claimed responsibility. Yeah. And this disrupted the talks. The strike occurred at a highly sensitive time as Qatar was actively serving as the primary neutral venue and mediator for international Gaza ceasefire negotiations. There you go. The day before Charlie's murdered. Was it your theory? What is your theory? How do many people involved in cover up and no one has snitched? Okay, so a couple things. There's a thing called need to know and compartmentalized information and plausible deniability. Not everybody has to be read in to the same degree as to the entire operation. Some people also can be lied to and told that something else is occurring, but they need to do this thing like Mikey McCoy or Blake Neff. I mean, these are just examples, but not everyone needs to be told that it is about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. They could have been told a totally different story to get them to do their part that day. Also, people that are threatened, blackmailed, things that get put on their phones or their computers, people could be bribed, all sorts of options as to how they can get people to go along with this and not come out and talk. So that's how I believe it could still be happening. And I mean, how something like this could involve multiple people and how people haven't come out and said anything yet. Hi, Matt. I jumped into the cesspool that is X a few weeks ago and made an account. It's already becoming a problem as I'm in Charlie Kirk spaces far too much. Yeah. Just go at little doses. All right. And then take big breaks. It's a different thing than YouTube. I was in Blake's space today and realized how vital the platform is for us concerned citizens. I'll request my first time to speak in one soon. For sure. Yeah, I definitely think it is a very valuable tool for us citizens to be connected across the nation, across the world. We can share information while it's still legal and allowed. Censoring does still occur, and it's full of bots from other people. From other countries and governments, and there's agents abound on there. All sorts of federal agents in there pretending to be just everyday average citizens, and they're not. So take it, tread lightly where you go and what you do. But I agree, it's TikTok is gone, nowhere else is like X, where that's where a lot of the adults hang out. It's also where a lot of crazy people hang out, and federal agents and other governments. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see. I don't necessarily want to listen to Frank Turek. This was another one that I wanted to click on. This says something about hot mics. Let's see. Actually, that's not the one I want to share because I wanted to pre-watch that. This is the one with Viva Fry, which is the same episode. This is the same day. See what they're wearing. It's the same day as this episode, okay, with Gary Melton and Andrew Colvette and Blake Navsey, like right here. And all he's talking about is like grains and ballistics, and which is so insane because the ammo variety, recoil, tumble, same rifle, same ammunition. What is this? Listener questions about the rifle. Maybe we'll listen to that in a little bit. But look at what they're wearing. And it's the same episode as this one. No, not this one. The other one that I had. This one, where they're talking about Candace Owens. Okay. So the Viva Fry is just later on. All right, let's see. All right, here.
And hopefully to help us do that is in this segment is Viva Fry. He is a former litigator, former Canadian. I don't know if he still counts himself as such, but Viva, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you on again.
Thank you very much. Yes, still Canadian, but in the process of I say becoming American on paper, but spiritually, I think I might be long American already.
I was going to say you're about the most American Canadian I've ever met. Who would have Viva beat in that regard?
Oh, Wayne Gretzky. I might start a war if I assert that Wayne Gretzky
Crowder
has become
is
American.
like quasi-Canadian, right? Isn't he?
Wait, I think Stephen was.
Oh, okay. Somebody just sent me something. Hold on. Let me see if I can click on it. So this is the tour that was brought up early on that they were talking about. So the America Love It or Leave It tour, 915 University of Arkansas, Michael Knowles and Matt Nuclear, Grand Canyon University. Oh, okay. Erika Kirk, Brandon Tatum, Shane Winnings, University of Nevada, 10-5, Riley Gaines, Will Witt, and Nala Ray. That's an OF girl. The University of Texas at Austin, Ben Shapiro, Representative Brandon Gill, Jeff Metcalf, and Matt Nuclear. University of Iowa, Ben Shapiro, Alex Clark, Matt Nuclear. Who's Matt Nuclear? Kyle Pauley, San Luis Obispo, Tulsi Gabbard, Riley Gaines, Nick Shirley, Will Witt. So a bunch of Zionists, a bunch of Daily Wire shills, and TPUSA shills. Awesome. Did you guys see? So I want to play this. This is coming up, you guys. I don't know if you guys seen this yet.
I want to get you guys together sort of after hours and have a discussion about what happened to Charlie Kirk.
You're monetizing Charlie Kirk's death. You're talking about it, defending him, but you're monetizing his death too. And I mean,
the thing with Candace is, and I don't know what her intent is. I don't know what's in her mind. I don't know if it's displaced grief. I don't know if it's anger. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter.
It could be genuine concern.
It could be genuine concern.
It could
I don't know her personally, so I don't know what
total
her
disgust
mind is, and I'm
the
not
level
trying
of
to know.
If Israel was directly involved, not with an exploding microphone, but it's just whoever shot the shot was an Israeli agent. He hopped on a plane 5 minutes later out of Orem and shot off, never to be seen again. What evidence do you think the American government would provide to the American people about that?
Oh,
Well, typically a spouse is looked into.
What's that?
Typically a spouse, if there's a murder.
That's actually not true. Hold on. I want to finish this point before.
I just want to say that.
No,
That's fair.
that's typically not true, by the way.
I can't wait
I
for
don't
this
believe
to
the
come
FBI
out.
when they say, yeah, we've investigated everybody in the Discord chats and there was nothing bizarre going on there. And then George Zinn just happens to be there, happens to take credit for the shooting.
This commercialization of questioning the narrative is feeding a monster, and people have profited off that. And I think, the amount of money that's been made off of it is totally out of proportion.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Totally out of proportion.
And if we don't ever have a justice in the situation, that's going to radicalize a lot of young people. That's gonna be the worst outcome, and I'm worried about that.
That's going to happen either way, and that's honestly my biggest concern.
But I think they could be using her as a pawn to divide us, because that's really at the end of the day. I'm saying that's a conspiracy. They want us fighting each other like this, right? And then it ruins the movement.
One group of people I think already has been radicalized. This is probably, in my lifetime, the next example since OJ where a crime has become a team sport. People have already made up their minds before the trial.
We'll definitely watch this together. Let's see when it actually is gonna happen. Okay, well, it was posted to okay, so when does it happen? Oh, it's happening today at 4? Man. Dang it. Well, don't watch it. Wait for me. We'll watch it together tomorrow. Or maybe when I get back from the fair, I'll do a late night show. If you guys promise to wait for me. I know. That's a big ask. All right. Let's see. Let me go back. Here. All right. I got to all the super chats. Let me see. We're at 2 hours, and I didn't really want to play any more of like Frank Turek and Gary Melton. I haven't pre-watched that one. I don't want to listen to Viva Fry. Yeah. So I've covered it all. Oh, actually, one of the ones that I wanted to share is where give me a second. I think it's further back. Well, if you guys have any questions or comments, please get them in while I'm looking for this. Oh, what? Hold up. I just saw one that I want to look at.
All right, welcome back. Hour 2 of the Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Colvin, executive producer of this fine show, back for hour 2, along with Jack Posobiec, as you already heard, and joined
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
in studio. What'd you say?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Okay, here we go. Already starts, huh? Already starts. The
You
anti-American.
don't get to use that.
Oh, okay.
No,
No formal.
No, it's dead for you.
We're joined also by the great Brandon Tatum, the officer, Brandon Tatum. Welcome back, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's
back.
great having you in Phoenix area because, just like, hey, come on over.
Yeah, I'm just up the road, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you live particularly close to the studio, so it still is a bit of a sacrifice. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And, and then we're in a position where, we it's an ongoing investigation. There's only so much we can say. There's, things that could be said and used against us in the court.
Yeah, you say a lot. There's only so much you can say. This just popped on my thing, and it's going to have Brandon Tatum and Jack Posobiec and Andrew Colvette. I don't remember this.
If we say certain things, but you've been tremendous, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. And, from that vantage point, tell us kind of what you're seeing. What are some of the common mistakes that people are making and kind of as they're processing this? And I just want to say one last thing, and then I'm throwing it to you. I do have a lot of grace because a lot of people out there are not investigators. They don't have a law enforcement background, and they love Charlie, and they want to get truth. They want to get justice. So I do have a lot of grace. I understand why there's distrust, but please, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. This stuff is very simple. All you have to do is have some type of experience like I do. I was trained on investigating. I investigated crimes myself. I testified in court. And you have that, plus you have wisdom, and you're reasonable, and you believe in God. So then you have godly wisdom in how you should articulate or put out information or disseminate information to the people that God is giving you that follows you. And like you said, Andrew, I understand that people are hurting and people are looking for answers and people don't know what they're talking about a lot of the times, and they're doing it in good faith, but they're just lost. It's like almost every police shooting that I cover. A lot of people don't understand use of force policy. They don't understand the law. They don't understand how the law is prosecuted. And so they are off on it, even though they have good intentions. Now, there's a difference between someone who's off on it in good faith with good intentions versus someone who know better and just out there spewing hatred and stupidity because they want to get clicks and subscribers and make money off of it.
So he's talking about Candace. Okay, this is like 40 something minutes. I actually want to pre-watch it. To make sure, I don't know, because it's 3:16. I'm at 2 hours and 17 minutes, and I need to get ready to actually go to the fair with the family. So this will be a great stopping point, and this is something that we can watch. I mean, we're going to have access to make him stop, please. No more Tatum. All right, we're good. Yeah, I can watch through it and just find the clips that matter. And we don't have to watch them in full. Same with like Frank and all these morons. But would you guys be up to if I do a later stream tonight and we watch that together? The walkaway tour where they're talking about all this. Well, I'm going to do it either way. So, and hopefully you guys can be there and make it fun and we can do it as a community. So if you can wait to watch it, that'd be great. If not, I understand. So it's all good. All right, you guys, if you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and hit the subscribe. After the video posts, if you would please write a comment or throw an emoji in at underneath the video and hype the video for free. It's the best way to help support the channel for free. And I think, okay, what time? Hold up. Stand by. All right, 7:30 p.m. Okay, we'll go live at like 7:30 p.m. After I get done here, I'll talk with my wife more detail to like get a specific time because I can't put in like 7:30. I have to like pick a time. So 7:30. Stay tuned for the link. We'll be here. We'll watch that together, and we'll have fun with it and enjoy the community as we do it. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Pacific Standard Time. Yes. Time zone. So 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. Okay. All right, you guys. Love you guys so much. Thank you. I will. I'll eat good food. Maybe I'll take some photos and stuff that I can post on my X and take a short video of myself doing something, and I can post it on the YouTube Shorts page or my Instagram, which follow me on all the different places. YouTube Clips page, Blackline Brief, YouTube Clips. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have X, and then we have Rumble, Kick, and Twitch. Follow us on all those places, and Spotify. And we have Spotify. Make sure to follow us on all those different places. All right. All right, you guys. God bless you guys. Have a great night. See you guys in a couple hours. Bye.